Mike Deutsch, Slinging Birdies. We got a treat for you today. Anybody who's watched this channel for a while know that I have some swing issues, some swing flaws. Some might say swing deficiencies. That's right, a challenged swing. I could go to a PGA professional, get a tune-up locally. That's all cool. But why do that when I can get some help from one of the top 10 players in the world? That's right. One of the best guys on the PGA Tour. I got Xander Schauffele. I got his father, Stefan Schauffele, who tunes up his swing. And we're going to have a swing evaluation from Xander Schauffele and Stefan Schauffele. It's going to be epic. Stay tuned.
Xander and Stefan, whose idea was it to critique average Joe golfer swings? Was this from Highland or did this come from you guys?
It was pretty much a collaboration. I think it was seemingly a no-brainer. The fact that my dad's been my only swing coach my entire life. So, I figured he'd get bored of just critiquing my swing. So, Highland decided to tie him in and we'd have a look at some other people's swings.
Cool.
Well, it's about X factors, right? It's Highland has started this Highland Share Your Swing program, or the contest that you can find at highland.com, swing/swing contest. And so we constantly look in Xander's swing, as a mature golfer with a rather mature swing. There's still some flaws. We look for unrealized potential, if you will. To give him a competitive edge or an X factor, actually, same in Xander's case, literally an X factor, since his name starts with it. And of course, Highland uses this to provide digital solutions for their customers and elevate their business and improve business performance. Same thing, on a smaller scale, if you will.
As far as choosing the winner or choosing the finalist, are you going to go by potential then, or if they're really good? So anybody can win, right?
Yeah, anybody can win. I mean, we don't the metrics on how Highland chooses the finalists. I mean, hopefully not on which swing looks the funniest. I mean, maybe the one that can be helped the most. I don't know whether it's a random draw, but of course, most interestingly would be one where there is a lot of potential, right?
Yuka Sasso won the U.S. Women's Open by studying Rory McIlroy's swing on YouTube, and she modeled her swing off of his. Do you think it's often helpful for average Joe golfers to pattern their swing off of tour pros?
I think anyone can learn anything from pretty much any tour pro that's on tour, and it's important to swing your own swing. I think that's something my dad and I always talk about, and it's an easy thing for us pro golfers to get away from. I think the one thing pro golfers share in common is that we're all perfectionists. Honestly, probably anyone that plays golf is trying to be a perfectionist, and unfortunately our bodies don't work the way we want them to, and sometimes our feel versus real isn't clicking, and we'll start going down this deep and dark rabbit hole trying to be someone that we're not. And so there's been times where even myself, guilty, I've tried to model certain positions or a certain look or feel from someone else I've seen on the driving range, and it has worked. But at the end of the day, it wasn't me. It's not me, and it wasn't something that I could use consistently throughout time. And so obviously she had a very good feel that week, and decided to go straight up and win. And she gives credit to Rory McIlroy, and that's obviously a really nice swing to copy.
Whenever I take a lesson, though, they always give me an older golfer, because I guess that makes more sense. So they show me usually Stuart Appleby. Should you pick someone your own age when doing this? Because obviously, I'm not going to be able to swim as fast as you or anybody of the younger players. Is that a good thing to do, to go within your own age bracket?
I think that's just common practice.
Okay.
If you feel young and free and like you're swinging faster than ever, then it could be a knock to you and your confidence.
Yeah, because of range of motion, Xander. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And if he's feeling dangerous, though, you compare yourself to someone a little bit younger.
What about if your swing speed doesn't match up? Would it be beneficial for an average player to look at maybe the women's tour if the swing speeds are closer?
Women are typically much more flexible than men.
Okay.
You swing at a certain speed. So a lady swinging 100 miles an hour and a male swinging 100 miles an hour are probably two very looking swings in terms of fluidity and range of motion. So no, in my book, you can't really compare. You know, you can compare certain things with men and women, but for the most part, women are just so much more flexible than men, and it gives them an ability to get the club in much better positions typically than males.
Well, what are the most common flaws you see in the swings of like average Joe golfers, like when you're doing pro-ams or whatever? Like, is there something that comes up again and again for you?
You know, more than, yeah, I guess it's sometimes, I mean, a lot of it is swing, but pro-ams are tricky. Obviously, people are very nervous and they always feel like I see, you know, the wrong club selection often, you know, just if we start before the swing and people will hit clubs that they shouldn't be hitting and it ends up in places, even when they hit it really good, it ends up in horrible places, you know. So for starters, we have this decision-making aspect, which is important. And then swing-wise, I feel that most amateurs, they try and swing really hard. And I think just from personal experience, you know, when you're trying to swing too hard, you sort of lose range of motion for starters, because just like in anything else, as soon as you try and swing really hard, you clench up and you tighten up and all your muscles contract. And when you swing a golf club, you want to be as smooth and as almost slow feeling as possible. And that's when you actually, you know, attain the most speed. It's funny how that works. And most amateurs, you know, golf is always a game of opposites. And that is one of them that I see quite often.
Sometimes mid-round, I'll start slicing every drive, like for 4 holes in a row. What's a strategy you can recommend to high handicappers to reset themselves if their game like slips away while they're playing?
Once again, I refer to the opposites. I see this happen quite often, and typically when you have a shut face, people will hit big slices, and you know, the face determines a lot of where the ball starts. So when people see this massive curve or this banana ball, you know, subconsciously you see this thing moving left to right or right to left, depending on if you're a lefty, and you tend to swing the wrong direction. If a ball is slicing off the planet, typically you'll make your body swing even more across the line without even realizing it, where actually you have to do the opposite of what you're trying to do and swing out. You have to swing the direction the ball's turning. And that's usually a really hard thing for amateurs to do. I mean, compensations are the biggest nightmare and fear for any golfer of any level. And it, you know, creeps into our bag, and it's really hard to tell sort of what, you know, my dad and I talk about is the true ball flight. And sometimes, you know, for me, for example, I'll be hitting this kind of blowout right. And then, you know, my dad always refers back to, you know, find your true ball flight. And I'll sit there with my caddy and say, all right, here it goes. And I'll take a swing at it and it'll be just nasty duck hook. And so for me personally, I know, okay, my face is a little shut. I'm definitely compensating by sort of dropping the club and swinging inside, hitting this massive slice. My real true ball flight is a duck hook, and the slice is just a cover up.
Xander, Miguel Jimenez used to be the most interesting man in golf, but your dad has kind of given him a run for his money. Who do you think, why do you think the golf world is so captivated by your father?
My dad, he just copied his hair. Let's be real, guys.
I did not. Look.
Miguel's been smoking cigars and has had that hair for quite some time. So, and I think, you know, my dad decided to use a Panama hat to, you know.
I have a lot more hair than Jimenez. Okay, he's going bald.
I doubt it.
Xander, you have a ton of peak play years ahead of you, but did seeing Mickelson win at 50 make like you think that, hold on a second, my career is going to be a lot longer than I thought it was? Like, I mean, you could be winning in like 25 years.
I mean, he did make history,
yeah.
So I don't think my brain ventured that far ahead. I try to stay as present as possible, but it was very eye-opening, probably to most. But I was able to play with Phil quite a lot during the quarantine time, and we were able to sort of, you know, learn a little bit more about each other, and it was really cool to see sort of how passionate Phil is, almost obsessive about the game, and how he does everything in his ability to make himself believe that, he's still the best. And obviously when I played with him during the quarantine time, he wasn't playing very well. So for me to say, I'm not surprised that he won, I actually mean that, even though I saw him probably play some of his worst golf he's played in quite some time. But he never quit. He always was the guy to go back to the range. He was always the guy to want to play an extra 18 holes, was always the guy to, he'd always have his coach in town. Like he was always working towards a goal. And you can tell the way his language obviously changed a little bit throughout, time from quarantine to playing a little bit better. Obviously got, it improved, but for the most part, he never really doubted himself at any point. And so that, that's my big takeaway. Not so much, oh my goodness, I can win when I'm 55, but more so this guy's been doing this forever, and he has no, he has less reasons to be motivated now than he did when he was my age. And so I think that's a very big takeaway for me. And, it was really cool to watch him win.
Hey, Mike, let's do some magic and take a look at your swing. What do you think?
Yeah, go for it.
So apparently we're going to see yours, and I'm trying not to laugh then.
It's bad.
Oh, it's a hang on. Oh, okay.
Got a face on, folks.
All right, so we'll do a full speed to start, and then I'll let you guys kind of dictate how you want to do slow-mo.
How old are you, Mike?
I'm 42.
Okay. Okay, Xander goes first. Do slow-mo. That perfect. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Oh, that we didn't see much there.
Different times. Let me see.
There's
Well,
another one after it.
I would definitely relate you to someone of your age just based on flexibility, my man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's a little bit on the stiff side. You cheat to get more shoulder and hip turn. That's why everything comes up. See there, that's tight, and now up to get more reach. And you think you're overswinging, but actually, yeah, you're moving completely out of position. So yeah, I'm 56. I know exactly how that feels. So you're only going to get more flexible after 42. Exactly. So it's yeah.
I'm seeing a high fading right ball. High cuts or high blowouts. The driver is probably a big slice, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I can see that. The club's wide open at the top.
Can you hold top position? If you can we stop it at certain spots? If you can maybe go to the top, and let's see the top position.
Yep.
Address is good. Alignment is not bad. The face, I want to see the face. It's flexibility, and you basically have a rather short swing. If you would keep your swing much shorter, you would probably have more success, but less power, of course.
That's fine. Okay.
It's hard to stop this on top. So flexibility is an issue. See, that's just, yeah, it's flying. Actually, the face is pretty good right there. I like the face. But see, that one is definitely.
That face to me is wide open.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's not as shut as I thought it was. But you just have a reverse pivot going, and that's just hard to overcome. Yeah.
So to me, if possible, a big focus would be everything that sort of happens halfway up is dictated by what happens halfway down. So if you kind of look face on, or even from this angle, you can kind of tell. And I'm trying to think of, you played baseball or some other sports growing up.
Yeah, I play baseball.
Yeah, so imagine you're batting right now and you're sitting there and your left heel off the ground and you're sitting there kind of waiting for some of the pitch. You're completely behind what you call, you're behind the pitch. You're waiting for it. You're in golf, I always refer to it as off the ball or completely wound up behind the ball. Golf, unfortunately, it's hard to relate to baseball feeling wise because it's so static versus reacting to a pitch. And so when you're over this golf ball, you have no actual load of your lower body, as if, imagine if you were trying to look at your lower body right now and trying to tell you if you're going to hit a ball out of the park right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to always look at the lower body a lot. And so you get this big lift because you're not turning into your right hip and you're not loading into your right glute at all. And that's really hard. That creates this whole, that's what I fight too. When I don't get a good enough turn into my lower body, you'll see sort of my hands on the back, so I'll kind of, instead of turning around myself, they'll start going up and up and up and up. And there's only a few ways. For me, I play a lot of golf, so I know that I need to drop this thing. But for most other golfers, it turns into this sort of pull down, and your club is pointing straight in the ground, and then you hit this massive slice. So you can kind of, really hard to explain over film, but
Sure. So is it a dropping motion then before I swing?
not even before you swing, but I'm just explaining, if you can load into your right side better, this dropping motion becomes not so much of a pull down, but it becomes sort of like, it becomes much more natural to you. You know what I mean? You'll unwind the club. Like you'll see at impact, your handles, it's completely flipped. You have no shaft lean. It'd be like swinging a bat with all arms. And
well, you're basically above plane, and you're fighting so hard trying to get back onto plane. So when you're up on top, your shaft, butt of your shaft, and points inside the ball, and now you're just trying to fight so hard to get back on track here. And at that moment, you're flipping it. Yeah, you have, like Xander said, you can't. If you would pull ahead of the ball, you'd miss the ball. I mean, you'd hit a hosel rocket potentially, right? So you're just fighting to contact in the middle of the club face.
I'm not enough of a coach to know sort of what one piece of advice I can give you. I see all the things that are wrong, and I know what I would like to try and feel. But in terms of giving advice, in this show.
No, you said it. You said it. Sit in the right side. Complete the hip turn first. Make sure the face is registered, and then sit into your right glute and make sure that hip is in a balanced position. Without that, you have the reverse pivot going. Sit on the right side, and don't overswing. You don't need to try. 42, right? You used to be very flexible not too long time ago. Now the flexibility kind of disappears, but you still want to make that full swing up on top. And people tell you, dude, you're not completing your swing. So people try to fight to get the club parallel on top, and then you find ways to cheat, right? And that's just messing up the whole sequence. So, if you have to swing a little shorter. You should see my swing. It's really short.
Okay.